All right, next, let's add a stock option pool. We're going to keep everything identical except for what's in yellow here, which is the option pool. And a word about option pools. Option pools are for the intention of giving the company something to induce people to join the company. They could be employees or managers. They could be other parties that would do some work for the company, contractors, for example. But the venture capitalists are smart. They don't want to take dilution from their share. So what occurs is, preceding the financing, the company will create a stock option pool and dilute themselves such that the venture capitalists will not be diluted by the creation of the option pool. The VC will put it in their term sheets saying, you will establish a stock option pool of X amount of size or percentage before we do our financing. Ouch. So the dilution is borne by the founders, and the venture capitalists have clean. Founders do it partly because of the golden rule, being he or she with the gold makes the rule. But the other part is they know they need option pools anyway. So here, let's do the math on how this would work if we added a 20% option pool. Going back to Excel. So same information. Again, the only change is 20%. We'll go to step 1. Step 1, much of this is the same. The comparable price was 32. I'm going to go through faster this way. The income by that comparable is 2. Valuation ratio is 16 million. We have $1 million of our company projected, and each dollar is worth 16, so our company is going to be worth 16 million. The expected return is 0.5 for the VC, 5 years, and the value of the firm. We have to change this format to percentage, and then the value of the firm equals the PV, open parens, of 50% as a rate, comma, the time, 5, comma, payments of 0, comma, the value of the company of 16 equals 2.1. Thank God it's the same number. I'm doing this again just to give you some repetition as well, because this is math that should become instinct or muscle memory, as I call it. So next, what is the VC ownership? This is going to be a little bit different, not horribly. So they still put in $1 million. They still want 0.5, 5 years. So the valuation, or the amount that they need at future value, is FV, open parens, the rate, comma, the time period, comma, the payment of 0, comma, the PV of $1 million invested, which means $7 million. So if the valuation is $2.1 million, then what they would get is the same, the valuation at time of exit equals the 16 million. So 16 million at time 5, they would get 7 million at time 5, which is the same 47.46%. So the venture would get that amount and constitutes this amount of valuation. All right. The option pool is now new, it's 20%. And the founders get what's left over. Notice the trend here. So the founder will get 100% minus what the VCs got minus what the option pool got. So the founders are now down to 32%. Notice they started at 100. They started at 100, dropped to 53 roughly. Now they're dropping to 32. Carrying it back through, the amount owned by the founders is 32%. The number of shares they had was 2 million. And so the total outstanding shares is that divided by that. 6 million shares outstanding. So the value of the company is stated at 2.1 million. The total shares is now 6 million. And so the price per shares is dollars divided by shares, or 34 cents. And we can do the cap table now with this other enhancement. So the Series A investors will get 47%, and then the option pool would get 20%. And then the founders would end up with the leftover, which is 32%, and they had 2 million shares. So the total outstanding shares is 2 million divided by what they owned. So they're going to issue another 4.1 million shares, and this shows who gets it. So the VC will get 47% times this number, and the option pool will get 20% times this number. And so the total equals the sum, should be 100%, which it is. And now we get to dollars per share. Dollar per share dropped to 34 cents, and that's the same for everyone. So at the time of funding, everyone's at the same value per share. So that's the amount per share times the number of shares. Guess what? $1 million. Common stock owners, the founders, their value is now $685, and the pool is $421. The sum, which is the value as of now, should be what? Correct, 2.1 million. Right? You knew that. Okay, so we have the same valuation, but now since we're adding both venture capitalists and the option pool, our ownership percent has dropped to 32%, and the value of our shares is now at $685. We're watching our net worth disappear as we go.